if you're not sharing your gifts, you're being selfish. Quit being so fucking selfish. Who am I to share? I'm not good enough. We obliterate these concepts and we look at it through a new lens. I wanted to stand taller and feel more. That's what jettisoned me on this journey of pushing past my resistance to fear. This is Jeff Sculpt. I am the founder, designer, and creator of One Golden Thread, and also the co-spirator of the podcast Drops of Gold. It's an honor to be here on Mankind of a Big Deal project. So what is the greatest benefit to mankind? Connection, creation, regeneration, and love. It's not just connection with some sort of a higher, it's connection first to ourselves, and it's connection to community, and then it's connection to the planet, being earth connected. Creation, when we start with a pure intent as opposed to financial gain, and we create from a place of not just for ourselves, but for a greater good. And then regeneration. Beyond sustainability, how do we give back more than it takes to create? Models of regenerosity have been in our systems for centuries, and it's time to bring them back as the central focus. What is the most meaningful human connection I've ever experienced in my life? It was the connection with myself. It took a half a century. I lived a life of being a people pleaser, lived a life of being an amplifier for other people's visions, and that bottling up is like that white knuckle clutching of like there's something to share, but who am I to share? That most beautiful human connection that we can have, that we want to have with the planet, we want to have with our partner, we want to have with our community, it's all a facsimile. Until and unless, and at that exact moment, that we receive our golden light inside. There's an expression which is a dream that keeps coming back is no longer a dream, it is a calling. And what was going through for me was sort of this intersection of conscious business, but it didn't start as business. It started with an inspiration to share around the world what I came into coherence with, which is that we're all golden inside. It's an amazing thing to go back to when an idea was birthed, and every powerful reflection in my life of somebody who's doing something magical started with not an agenda or even a business plan, but it started with an intent. For me, my intent was to share, and I was scared shitless to share it with anybody but myself, until a perfect stranger obliterated my own choked back fear when he said, we're on this planet for 3 reasons: to learn, to love, and to share. And if you're not sharing your gifts, you're being selfish. Quit being so fucking selfish. That's what jettisoned me on this journey of pushing past my resistance to fear. It's an amazing thing what happens when a dream and a calling morphs. And I had a dream one night is to weave a golden thread through every article of clothing. I went on a material mission around the world and found the most benevolent fabrics in California, a special 1% top cotton in the world, regenerative beech tree fibers from Lenzing, Austria. And I found a knitter to weave it together into our own proprietary blend, and I was blessed with my mother's touch. I wanted it to be so somatic that I would stand taller and feel more. As we started to develop this, it was going to be going beyond sustainability, where every item sold was going to give back more than it takes to create. And that's why for every item sold, we plant a tree. We've now planted 111,000 trees. My greatest joy and pleasure with One Golden Thread is when I hear 2 people who don't know each other connect and see the threads in the world. When I first heard about the project, Mankind of a Big Deal, what came to me is the sacred masculine, the divine feminine. It's about self, community, and planet. Who's speaking for the seas? Who's speaking for the trees? Who's speaking for the 4-legged? We as humanity get to come together, and that is kind of a big deal. March 10th, 2020 was a seminal day for humanity. That was also the day that my mother died, and I was by her side. As the one who was the creative energy force in my life, as a fine artist, putting paintings upside down and seeing a rock and a twig and putting colors together and seeing life through that creative artist lens, there was a real transference and a real blessing. I'll go back to something that I read in my mother's journal after she peacefully transitioned. Be honest, be gentle, and be kind, and then you can love everybody. This notion around made by love with love for love isn't woo-woo. It's actually the deepest depths of sacred masculinity, of how do we create with precision and purpose. And if you spell protector the way that it's really supposed to be spelled, it's protect and H-E-R. So we're here to protect her as sacred masculine, and that starts with Mother Earth. And it cascades down to every woman that teaches us how to access the sacredness of our masculinity. What is one stereotype of masculinity that you believe should change? You know, it actually speaks to the fact that we have a language problem, and we start there. Like, I don't believe that masculinity should change. The stereotype about masculinity is that we need to fight and everything is fierce and has this kill mentality. What happens when we view it from a place of we have a divine inside us, and the masculinity then can have a softness to it while also being fierce? There's a 3-word poem that kind of came to me, which is pray, pray, and pray. We get to do everything from a place of intent and with gratitude and with precision, and that's the pray. And then there's the play, which is just like, let's go have a good time while we're doing it, and we get to carpe season, go get it. The greatest honor of my life is to see every one by one, particularly the masculine, who sees themselves and says, I look like me. Welcome to the One Golden Thread flagship on Apikini, where you'll find all of our favorites, from our zip hoodie to our tree shirts in all different styles. One Golden Thread started out with 3 colors, white, black, and shroom. And it's been so fun to go deeper into the color palette. The inspiration for the design comes from everywhere. Sometimes it comes from nature, sometimes it comes from witnessing the way somebody's standing. Maybe it's me noticing certain things on the body and saying like, well, why would we cover up that? Why wouldn't we accent that? The plush zip and roll, this is my new favorite. Take a long sleeve and turn it into a mock neck or as a polo collar. Clothing was always about protection. The greatest lesson we could learn is obliterating the lie that we are apart from nature and to see that we are a part of nature. These are the dusters. Our dusters made of our tree silk is to connect you to the elements, not protect you from the elements. The greatest reflection that I receive is when somebody says you thought of everything. You know, when you see that there's a sunglass loop on the hook of the hoodie, because I used to lose all my sunglasses. It's got raw edges and it's got stretchability, so you can actually move even though it's fitted and crisp. It's about functional fashion with feeling. So this is a pant for the every human. It's 2 pants in one. You can wear it this way or you can wear it inside out. We've got pockets inside pockets. We've got a sunny loop saying, what would it be like if you went inside out? Super comfy, cozy to wear it outside in or wear it inside out. It's crazy to think of myself as a designer, still to this day, 9 years in. The most powerful thing that we can learn is that we can have moments of doubt when we're doing it for another, but when we're doing it for ourselves, it's just pure love creation. That's what I was doing. What are the elements in architecture that makes a man a home or a home a man? What is the ecosystem? What is the grounding? What are the fundamentals? Does it have a style and a panache and like an inner ego as a quiet hero? When you walk into it, does it feel like home? When you walk into your soul, do you feel like you are expressing your soul's calling? Retail, it's not just about coming and shopping, it's about having an experience. Birthing this brand in New York, the Speakeasy, was always my greatest joy, walking through the hot dog stand and into the special Speakeasy bar. So this notion around like, how do we invite people into an experience? Every retail store, this is our flagship, will ultimately have an experience to invite people into. So here's the store, and I invite you back. Welcome to the OGT bar. Have tea ceremonies here, invite people back for a moment. This is the oasis. Gather community for connection, conversation. It's all about creation. A dear friend of mine said that rituals are habits made holy. I'm just beginning to learn about the equanimity of patience, having the space to give yourself patience, having the patience within the space to just be with the tea. When people call it that really understand tea and the journey, they call it the original plant medicine. So it's a blessing that we get to invite people into the experience. It's all about celebrating equanimity with nature, connection with self, peace, resonance, harmony. What's one mistake I made as a man that taught me a powerful lesson? Misidentifying and misconstruing kindness as niceness, because we are missing our authenticity when we are being nice. Kindness can be fierce, kindness can be direct, and kindness can sometimes be the hardest thing for another to hear that becomes the gateway for their greatest transformation. I know it's been for me, and it took me being kind with myself. And within kindness is honesty, and within honesty is love. The message I'd love to share for the next generation is let go of our performative and embrace our prayer formative. You know, my father, when I was 8 years old, said to me, I asked him, I had to define the word character, and he said, character is what you do when nobody's watching. So what are we doing right now? For ourselves, for our community, for the planet. It's starting with ourselves, to be grounded, be connected, be in love with being in love. I just want us to be kinder to each other by starting to be kind to ourselves. Don't be so fucking hard on ourselves. I'll leave you with this. The universe gifted me this. You are a miracle. Miracles are messy. Self-permission to make a mess. Thank you, mankind of a big deal. I'm Jeff Sculpt. And never forget, you are golden.